And welcome to Bases 37 in Broadstairs in Kent, the home of Charles Dickens. His house in the background there and the beautiful beach ahead of us. This is Bases 37 and it's the home of Max Spiers that we're now visiting in England. And we're going to discuss his history, his background and all things in between. Tape 2, take 1, Bases 37. Oh. Okay, Max, we basically established in part 1 that you've had a heck of a hard time. Lots of different things happen. You get triggered. What we want to do is understand why did that happen.
Okay.
Ideally, for instance, during the Kerry Cassidy interview.
Well, let's go back before that.
So we got back to you as a child, high Kundalini energy.
But we don't know why that happened.
We don't know why that happened.
I didn't explain that.
So why did that happen and what happened?
Okay,
Explain
so what happened was I was the split between a high vibrational female and what we classed as a low vibrational male. And I'm not into polarities, good and bad, but what I'm saying is my father is of the lower vibrational sense, brilliant, amazing, and my mother is of a high vibrational, compassionate, different. So just looking like the spiral, like the DNA spiral. So what happened was I was born with an equal, a central, exact central point of those two.
So they were in balance.
They were perfectly balanced. It's just when the perfectly balanced came together, I became imbalanced. So that when I was born, as soon as I was born, a line went down the center of my body, and half of me turned red and half of me turned yellow. And the doctors came in and they took photographs of me, and it was in the newspapers, and it was a big deal. Like, why is this? And I was called a Harlequin child, and I'm known as the Harlequin. I was known as the Harlequin, and the Harlequin is the Joker. Whatever that means.
Was that medically? Really. Did you get jaundice on one side or what?
No, it disappeared after 3 minutes. It and disappeared after 3 minutes.
And it was of such an intensity that they photographed you.
Yeah, crystal clear. Yes, photographs. Yes, we can show photographs of that too. And that symbolically, that was because I think that for me, I had to, as a soul purpose, as a soul being, had to find a balance within myself. And this person, this human being that you're talking to, had to find and has to try and find, and is finding a center point, a center balance point. So okay, so that's that part.
What does that involve?
What does that involve? That involves facing myself, because that means, and there'll be questions when I tell you this, that means that I have about 50% R complex amygdala reptilian DNA, and 50% I'm trying to give you another name for the other type of strands of DNA, but I can't give you the name for it because I don't know it. So I feel ignorant, but I don't know it.
But in essence, is it another form of reptilian?
No.
But you said in Canterbury that you were proud of your long tail. I mean, it's not
because I'm dragon. I am a dragon.
From Draco? From where? What do you mean by a dragon?
Okay, well, there are dragons. There are 4 different types of dragons. And what else are you? I'm a fire dragon.
Okay.
I was born that way.
Now what's the...
And
explain what the 4 are.
Well, then you'd have to go with, because remember, all we're dealing with is 3D, right?
Yeah.
Right. We're dealing with 3D. We use a camera, lights, and
so-called
miles,
physical
right?
three-dimensional
So
world.
we're dealing with air, earth, water, and fire. So there's going to be 4 dragons, right?
Okay.
I'm a fire dragon. I'm one of the fire dragons. There's a couple. I'm one of the fire dragons. And I'm one of the male fire dragons. My battle was that I'm fallen. And it goes back to that spiral again.
You keep referring to the spiral, and
Yes.
you've been in various...
Well, I didn't used to be that.
You've been in Canterbury and other places here in Kent, where you've gone up and down these spiral staircases.
Yes,
Is that to connecting
yes.
to do that?
It's like desperation almost, because the only way to get out of this 3D loop is to get out the top of the spiral. Otherwise, you as well, Miles, are going to get stuck doing the same thing again. And you probably won't interview me. You'll interview someone who looks like me again in
Right.
15,000 years.
15,000.
Well,
Could you explain what that cycle is?
Right now, okay.
You're talking about precession of the equinoxes or what?
Yeah, yes, yeah, type of thing. We're not
But it's
talking about
not
the
that.
We're not talking about the 3,600 year Nibiru cycle. We're talking about sometimes they get blocked. We're talking about do you need numbers?
No, if you can come up with numbers, that's fine. But if you don't know the numbers, it doesn't matter. What we need is the essence. We're dealing with a different cycle here to the precession of the equinoxes, which everybody talks about.
When you say equinox,
the 36,000, the 36.
But that word itself, means balance, right?
Yeah.
What does nox mean?
I don't know. I don't know at this time.
So when you say equinox, what do you mean?
The equinox is the I can't. It's the cycle of the stars moving from one side of the sky to the other.
You'd have to say a balance of the night, right? Nox means night.
Yeah.
So balance of the night. So we're talking again the same
when
thing.
night is the same as the day,
Okay.
and then
but it comes from the beginning of the conversation I've had with you about polarity.
yeah,
And
the male and the female.
right, and that goes back to the Mona Lisa thing. The must of the Alpha Draconis. The Alpha Draconis, which are actually female, or pretend to be. They're actually androgynous. Smoking a cigarette with ship matches. Are androgynous because that's why they feel they are superior to we are. Because if they have both sexes contained within one body, they'd be superior.
Why do they say that they're superior?
Because they contain both male and female within one body. If you only contain male in one body, you're only expressing masculine expression. If you're a female, you're expressing female. If you contain both, then you are enlightened. So that's why they did in China. When they cut the balls off when they became like very, very special.
They were and they did it in Rome as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
God,
when they
can't
take that, what's the name?
They remove the testosterone from the male, and so the male is actually lacking. They're not male and female. They're actually deficient.
No, they're not deficient. What they've done is
they haven't progressed to being a full male.
They've not balanced it correctly, but what they've done is they've given they've certainly changed it. They've certainly off balanced it.
Yeah.
So they've given a little bit more.
Getting back to the dragons, you're talking about 4 different types of dragons.
Yeah, there are
right?
4. Yeah.
And you're fire. You're a fire dragon.
Yes. Do you know when the queen sits down and takes the throne? The last thing that the usurpers, which is not the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, is not they're the Germans who stole the English throne. They're not the real royalty here. And what does royalty mean? Royale. What does it mean? But
do you want to refer to a diagram that you have here?
We could definitely do that. I am related. I'm related to it, but I'm double. I'm French and Stuart, or yeah, we can do that.
And since we've brought that subject of royalty up, and we have a diagram that you've referred to off camera, shall we get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is the kings and queens of England, and yes, explain.
Okay. From what I know. And I'm not somebody who knows everything about it, but I do know a little bit. First of all, the fleur-de-lis, the French symbol.
Okay.
Now, why fleur-de-lis? Why that symbol? Why?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Why? Why is that? Fleur-de-lis. Lily, yeah. Lilith. Okay, so what it actually really is the Sirius A, B, and C, and no one usually refers to the C because it's hidden, but there is a Sirius C, but it's quiet and hidden. So that's what that is. Where do I come from? Well, I come from Dagobert and Herbert and Dagobert, which is the Merovingian bloodline.
Now, where is that? Can you refer to that, please?
Hold on,
I'm looking at the top.
Yeah, but it goes back before that. That's the thing. Okay, so it says Egbert. See, I don't know all of this, but it goes before this. So Miles, I can't like intellectually break that down for you, but I know I just know the connections, like quick connections.
Okay, well, if you just want to make a brief statement about what that means.
Okay.
About your connection with this bloodline.
Okay. The theft. Okay, this was all about thieving and stealing and trying to find the Grail. Everything is about trying to find the Grail, because they want to make sure they find the Grail, because if they find the Grail, which actually isn't a Grail which you
physically drink from.
Yes.
It's knowledge, isn't it? Or state of mind.
It's state of mind, consciousness, and DNA. And if you have that, you can contain it within if you can really contain it within yourself, and if you're willing to maintain duality, which would mean you would have to fight war. You would have to maintain war. You would have to maintain war back and forth, because if you don't maintain war and if there's peace, you will never ever be able to stay in 3D.
Now explain that. What's the reason for that?
3D in itself is polarity. Left, right, up, down, polarity.
So you're talking about the dimensional reality we call space would collapse if we don't keep fighting each other.
It would cease to be the way that it is now. It would cease to be the pleasures of the flesh. And a lot of beings have come down here because of the pleasure of the flesh. And
Because in the spiritual realm, you don't experience any of that.
No, you don't.
So in this 3D world, which is a heavy, dense, the compact world of energies,
you can't feel like anything. You can't feel like, even like sticking a pin in your knee, you couldn't compare it to anything else. It couldn't be compared to anything. Like somebody here in, for example, 9D, sticking a pin in your knee. It's like that's painful. In 9D, they couldn't even conceive that. But the pain is something that is unexplainable. So sex, eating, certain types of sex, eating, drugs, any of those things. There's multitude of those things can only be done in 3D. So to do that, you must maintain the three-dimensional form here.
So the dimensional,
You're doing it now. Yes.
Yeah, the dimensional integrity of.
It's not integral. Yes, but yes.
Why can't we just have polarity peacefully and people like each other?
Because if you did that, you wouldn't have the extreme feelings. And now you're talking to a dragon. So if you're speaking to in that way, I couldn't experience the feeling of extraordinary lust. I would never be able to experience that feeling.
Okay, just while we've got the kings and queens of England up there, is there anything you want to point out on that?
Do you understand what I'm saying to you though now? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? No?
No, because I just want to finish off this.
Well, the kings and queens here are just different planetary. Okay, so you have Sirius. Generally here you have Sirius and Orion, and
so the coats of arms.
Aldebaran fucking took over the Fourth Reich a while back, and Aldebaran they're very, 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 very clever.
So what you're saying is, to interrupt you, but what you're saying is that those symbols are secrets in plain sight that our ruling elite are declaring to us that they
they're not declaring to us. They're declaring to each other
where they come from.
Yes. So this is galactic. This is nothing. They don't give a shit about you.
They're declaring their different extraterrestrial origins in plain sight. Okay. That's
perfect. Perfect. That's actually quite perfect, though.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's a very good conversation to have too, because that's what it's about now. And now there's only two left who are fighting, and now Aldebaran and Orion are fighting. And there's only two left. It's like that's where Hunger Games comes up. I mean, I know it's and
now you mentioned the Hunger Games before.
I know. Only because you know. And
what's the significance? No, but
yeah.
Why? What do you mean? There's only two left?
Because
you're saying that because once those two make peace, our three-dimensional integrity will collapse.
Okay, just to be really, really weird. Okay, there's a game called Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat obviously has the initials MK, right?
For MK Ultra.
Yes. So if you look carefully at the game Mortal Kombat, you'll see what's going on, and it kind of ties in with the Hunger Games, and you'll see they're seeing who can, in a 3D form, be the strongest. Aldebaran wanted to create the strongest man. Sirian wanted to create the strongest man. Each one, and see who because it's a game to them in 3D. And we're at the end of the cycle, the fourth cycle, and so now we're going to see.
We're at the end of the fourth cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, we did this before. I've talked to you before.
Yes, but is this referring to the fifth and sixth, the fourth and fifth sons at oh bloody hell, the Aztecs refer to?
Same principle. Same principle. It's the same Indian principle. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's a game. And they call it the elites without involving anybody in my family. They call it the game.
Yeah.
To see who wins.
And what happens when one wins and the other loses?
Well, then you have to still stick into the duality, because win and loss means duality. Once you step outside of that and balance it, you don't.
You evaporate.
You don't have. Well, then you don't have to. I don't want to use the stereotypical words. I won't use them.
Now, you mentioned before about being sent to the void. Who was sent to the void, and they come out of the void?
Did I mention that to you?
Not in this recording, but you did mention about being sent to the void and them coming out of the void, because some other elements have described the bad guys here as a Valon and the Anunnaki and the Nephilim and things like that, and they have been so bad they are facing deletion from existence.
You can't be deleted.
But is that what you mean by being sent to the void?
No. No.
So what do you mean by the void? What do you mean by...
When you get sent to the void, you are without feeling. So you can't feel any of the feelings of the five senses. You only feel I think an old friend of mine told me you just feel ecstasy, and but when you only feel ecstasy, you don't feel. There's so much you don't feel, and it's a sad place to be in, and you can be locked in there, and that's why they mixed in with the human DNA the Goetian demons.
The which demons?
The 72 Goetian demons, if you want to.
Could you explain what they are?
Yeah. They would be the princes and dukes of hell. What we would call hell. Hell, the actual word hell would be H is a gate. The letter H is the letter H is a gate. And ELL was Elohim. And that would be the fallen angels. So the gates of the fallen. Okay, so that's where they hang out, and they are very, very powerful, but they want to come up here and feel what we feel, because they can't feel what we feel. They can't feel what it feels like when you put some milk and sugar into your cup of tea and sip it. They can't feel that feeling. And they can't feel the feeling when you lust after that girl that you looked down the street at. They can't feel that. They can just feel the other feelings, which are nasty. There's nasty. It's like debauched, nasty feelings, and that's when people mess with those things. That's what keeps coming up. That comes up for them. That's what they think about. They obsess over it. But in truth, they want to feel like there's so much stuff to feel in 3D. That's amazing. Beautiful.
How do they try to do that? What's involved with that?
How are they trying to do that? the people who want. Okay, well, you get power through doing that. It's a deal. It's always a deal. And when you make the deal, you get something. You get material. It depends. The deal goes is you get material goods, but generally, when you get your material goods, you also get taken over, and
by them.
Of course.
That's the deal.
If you,
literally, you sell a lot of rock stars, a lot of music.
Sure. Jimmy Page was a big one, and I love Jimmy Page. And what happened with him and Crowley and Burlesque House and the Tower in London, and what was going on with that was very, very important.
What was going on with that?
Crowley didn't close the gate in Scotland at Loch Ness. He did a 6-month ritual.
Yes, he was in Loch Ness.
He didn't close the gate. And
are you saying that Loch Ness is open? To this day?
Yeah, now. I'm going there next week.
And thus the monster of Loch Ness monster.
Leviathan. And the thing with the Leviathan is that even like the most powerful, there's still vampires around. There's still like very powerful vampires around. Like there were vampire wars, and there was huge wars that went on for 50 years, 60 years. And,
are you referring to vampires in the classical sense of creatures which transform? And
only in the sense that they take energy from others to keep themselves young.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go extend their eye teeth and bite into the neck. Just take their blood. But there are other ways of doing it.
But they still do that. I mean, this is something that James Casbolt referred to. Certain individuals drinking blood. Drinking the blood of children in a terrified state, they get this euphoric.
Right. Adrenochrome.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I know people who have been taken to cells terrified and then not completely tied up, but terrified in a circle of beings which shifted in a shape.
Yeah.
And because this particular individual didn't get terrified, they let her. She was able to get away.
Well, you can always get somebody, but you could.
But the next girl was terrified. They got her.
Right. The level of fear is the higher the fear, the better the shield. Because if you don't look like you and me, I don't know really what you look like. I don't know what I look like really. Or maybe you do. But at the end of the day, if we want to make ourselves look like everyone else down the street, which we'd like to, because because everyone wants to fit in.
Yeah.
Then we would like to consume something that would at least make us look like we can continue doing 9 to 5, and amongst other things, because it's a lot more nefarious than that.
How nefarious?
How nefarious is that? Raw power, pure power.
And what do you mean by power? By the ability to say, do this and everybody else doesn't? Or what? Melding of universes and time spaces and...
But it goes back to the dualistic mind. It goes back to that. To contain the 3D, there must be extreme this way and extreme this way.
You've got to stress something.
Yeah, and the further the stress, the better it is for those guys.
Yeah.
And the more pain the other guys feel, the better it is for those guys. So destroy, for example, get fuck the middle class, and then more power for them. More power for them. Make Oliver Twist sit on the floor. Can I have some more, sir?
Yes.
Would be better for them.
And Oliver Twist is written by Dickens?
Yes.
Which is
down the street.
Down the street, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for my ignorance. I did the play. I should know about these things.
Yeah. Yeah, but principally, that's exactly how it must be. And if there is balance, then it doesn't work.
They collapse.
Yes.
Is this the yin and the yang?
I suppose so. But that's yin yang is 3D too.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very basic.
From different culture.
Because that's 3D. What about 9D? What about 12D? Where there's no polarity. Fuck.
Well, there's 12 poles.
Right.
Surely that's more stressed. It's a higher order of...
There isn't left and right after fourth. You don't have to think up, down, left and right after fourth. It becomes a different... Like if you could do a hypercube.
Yeah.
It becomes without that.
And so therefore these creatures must
force you to you getting it? It must force you to create war here, but they want to have a good time.
They want hate. They want terror.
They want to have a good time too. They want to have great food, great sex,
yeah,
great fun.
As somebody once told me recently, they want to be healthy enough to enjoy their
it sounds like a good idea.
Pleasures.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. The only thing is, there must be a mass that suffer as well. There has to be a big amount that suffers as well. That's the only problem.
So the energy from their pain
and
generates the pleasure.
Go ahead.
For them. The power.
Say again?
The energy from the pain of those suffering generates the pleasure for those who receive that.
And the higher the suffering, the more power and the more pleasure they get. Yes. Yes.
So if those in pain were somehow able to diffuse their pain, those in power would collapse. The fear porn we're fed all the time in the media, and you know all the monitoring, the spying, keeping us all.
Yeah, it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that way.
How does it happen then?
I don't know yet.
Are you trying to find out?
Yeah.
For what reason?
I think perhaps selfish reasons.
You want power?
I already have power. I already have power. I definitely have power here, but I don't want to play the left, right, up, down.
Right. So you're suffering for that.
Yeah, I think so.
So what does...
Because when you have power, I think now you suffer as much as the people who don't have power.
Is that because there's something new here which is changing all that?
Yeah.
I've seen,
it didn't used to be that way. It didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, but there's a new kid on the block, and it's changing the game.
Big time, real quick.
And nobody knows who the new kid on the block is.
I do, but right.
What is the new kid on the block?
What do you mean?
Well, you just said you do know who the kid is on the block is. I mean, I'm referring to a thing called the black goo and this higher consciousness thing. A lower consciousness or whatever the black goo is. It's changing. It's taking. It's developing the form. Something's changing things. Something's making the game change so you don't repeat the same situation that's happened before. Because you don't want to repeat the same situation that's happened before.
It will happen again.
Jesus. On what grounds do you base what you and I are? You've said you've included me in this. So from an audience perspective,
yes,
and from a people who don't understand what's happening perspective, how do you base that? This dragon thing, this power that you say you have.
Well, I didn't say I had this power. I think what you're doing now is twisting it around. I think you're playing games. And
I'm deliberately trying to play games because I want to try and answer questions that people would be saying what is all this about?
Okay.
So we need to
So
answer
you're
those.
being like a direct journalist, like
I'm
let's
trying to do my journalistic bit here.
right.
Some people would say, Max,
Yeah.
that
This
what
guy
you've
is
just-
full of shit. Who is that? Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
in the
everything.
same way that people have
What
criticised.
can I
Casbolt
do
and
apart from
other
look at
people.
the camera and read my eyes, or look at you and answer my question? I'll answer your questions.
Yeah. How do you answer that?
Which particular part? If you give me a direct question, I promise to answer. I promise.
What do you base
Promise I'll answer.
the we in this? Me and you.
Oh, you and I.
Yeah.
Okay. I know who you are.
Right.
I know what you're doing.
Because I have to say now that in this particular story, I've been abducted at the Super Soldiers Summit, taken to Area 51 and God knows what else. So
Right.
certain things have been said about me. So I'd like some answers about that.
Right, but that makes me feel like that you're directing the problem of the abduction towards me.
No, I'm not. No, but we'll get onto that. We'll talk Super Soldiers later. But continue.
We certainly will. Okay. In my opinion, I feel that you, Miles, were part of a council, of an older council, not the new council, the older council, and you and I used to converse with each other about how things should go in this particular boring polarity 3D dimension.
Yeah, well, I am getting very bored with it.
Yeah.
Very bored. Very annoyed.
I say it all the time. Like I'm so bored of up and down, left and right. But I am very indulgent, and I do like the five senses. And I did come down here over and over and over again because I got addicted to the R complex. I got addicted to the feelings, the pleasures of the flesh.
Okay, you've mentioned this council. What council of what?
Well, there was
The
seven.
Council of Nine.
No, there was seven. The old one was seven.
Yeah. Now that from the perspective of
The
people
new
who
one,
are watching,
they don't let me. They don't let me. They're asking me questions about it. I don't know about the new council.
but can you say what the old council was? Or is that something that is sayable? Is describable?
Okay. I feel that it was a group that was balanced, who wanted to make sure that the whole point of this whole fucking thing, the 3D thing, was to understand black and white. And why black and white was black and was white.
What's the is it? What does that mean? What does that? What do you mean? You're talking about the two polarities.
And they're the same thing. In truth, black and white are the same
You can't
thing.
have light. You can't have shadow without light.
Right. But you can't look in the mirror with that. You can't comb. I'm not trying to be like obviously, yeah. You don't.
So what is?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So what's this council?
It's a big long old thing, and something that messed up, was they introduced while they were. I don't want to get into the galactic history because that's a whole long big thing. Because I'll talk to you about that.
We'll delay we'll talk galactic history.
Sure.
At another time.
Yeah.
From this perspective,
Yeah.
okay, we've got a situation where we've got an old council.
It's the
and a new
end though
council.
now. It's the end now. It's the end now.
These are the end times, to put words in your mouth.
Yes. So yes.
So what do the end times mean?
There's one with okay. So you have one black, nothing to do with the color of skin, of course, and you have one white. So you have one versus the other. And in fact, they actually do the same thing.
Is it like the Mobius loop twisting as you just continue around the loop?
Ouroboros, yes.
Yes.
I made a point so that the snake wouldn't swallow its tail again.
Okay.
That's that bit. Why would you want to keep doing that though? I mean, I do get it though. I do get it a bit, Miles. I do get it a bit. I do get it a little bit because I am self-indulgent. I do. I'm into five senses. I like drinking tea with 5 sugars in it, and I like cream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that. But at the end of the day, it's not particularly going to take you up the spiral too far. It's going to keep you down pretty. It's not going to make you down to Moloch, Baalil, down there. But it's not going to take you up too high. And I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't have a problem with those guys either. And that's okay.
Who are you referring to when you say those guys?
The particular people I just said?
Yeah.
They're particular beings. They're incredibly powerful beings who would rather stay long periods of war and indulgence. Long periods of war and indulgence. And they're the generals of doing that. Baal, Moloch, Baalil, Moloch particularly.
Why particularly? Why
particularly Moloch?
Yeah.
I think like saying his name.
All right.
Yeah. Why particularly him? Because he's third in command of that, of Goetia.
Can you describe their domains?
Where do they come from?
Yes.
They come from the lower vibrational spiral, but they get pulled up because if you say, can you give me a 50-year life, which is nothing, a 50-year life of cars and women and this, I'll give this to you, then that's who they are.
What's the bargain usually involving?
That you have to come back again. All they want you to do is loop. All they want you to do is loop.
In other words,
what
like hamsters in the hip.
13 M. Why is McDonald's M everywhere? Why? Why is that? Why subconsciously do you think of M and 13 everywhere? Because you know inside yourself, when you see that, that means you know really you're coming back again. And that's alright. And that's fine. Come back again and do it. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with coming back again. Because there isn't anything wrong with good or bad. Come back and do it again. I just don't want to do it. I have something else to do. Numerology is very important. The Kabbalah cheats. The Kabbalistic magicians cheats. They cheated. Sephiroth cheated.
That's it. That's the thing. They make their own rules and still break them. which is one of the con jobs of the.
It's heartbreaking, really.
It's a con job of the so-called
of the
conspiracy movement, where they say, you know, if you do this, if you do that, you just con. It's a con job.
Yeah.
They get you to play the game.
I've been okay.
But they don't.
So I fought with the Dark Atlantean magicians for a long time, and I was one, and then I wasn't one, and then because how can you ever understand something if you're not it and then not it?
So you became that so you could understand it, you could experience it.
I'm going to ask you a question. How could you truly understand something if you weren't it and then not it?
Well, you can't really. And so many people try to take power without knowing what they're really doing, and then they screw it up because they don't know.
So you'd have to do both.
Yeah.
And that's the point of duality.
And that is going up the spiral. And we reach the top of the spiral, the 39 steps. Which is the 39 steps you're referring to?
They're over there.
Here in this town?
They're over there, yeah. Broad stairs. It's the thicker... it's easy. Well, it's just easier to get there that way. Sorry. Excuse me. It must be... I'm talking truth. Or light. I don't know. Duality again.
Okay, we've got
39 is obviously a reversal. Okay, how many miles to the moon? 93 million, sun, right?
It's 93 million miles
to the sun.
Yes.
So 39 steps would be the reversals to that. That would be the black sun, because that's the light sun. So you've got the reversal of that.
Black sun being in the earth.
Yes.
The center of the earth.
Yeah, why is everything reversed? Why is everything reversed? Because if you reverse it, you confuse it. If you're confused, you'll never leave. If I can confuse you, Miles, you'll never ever leave. If I can double bind you by saying, I'm not going to say it. There's a bunch. If I can double bind you, you'll never ever leave. And imagine for me, if I didn't want you to leave, I would embrace you, make you stay, because I need you to stay to keep thinking.
Taking two mirrors together, you do a double mirror, and then it continually reflects inside.
Yeah, and make sure you keep looking.
Yeah.
And make sure you keep looking and wondering, why? Because if you forgot why and just thought, hang on a second, I'm infinite, then you'd go, and then my 3D would be dead, and I wouldn't be able to be king anymore, or pauper anymore.
This is where some others have surmised that certain elements which have taken control of the world are creating a subspace universe within the universe, like a water tank inside the ocean,
right?
So that all the collective souls on this will be in their domain, and their subspace domain, their water tank in the ocean.
Well, so that's
one way of describing it.
Right. Same analogy, right?
Yes, just a way of saying the same thing.
Same
you create a 3D.
Yes.
A 3D subspace universe, and then you bring the souls from this one into that, and they're there in your domain. You can do what you want with them.
If you want to.
Do you
want to do that?
No, not really. Boring.
What do you want to do? What do you want?
I want peace and understanding.
What does peace mean to you?
Well, peace.
Yeah.
Peace
because
is a duality
first of all,
of war.
The word peace means separation of. If you think carefully, the word peace means break off. And so you already got tricked.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the Luciferian mind. And the Luciferian mind isn't bad. It's trying to teach you a lesson.
Okay.
I'm not a Luciferian. I'm just trying to teach you a lesson. In terms of that. I'll probably get damned for that.
You're going to get what?
I feel like I'm going to get damned for that, but
We're coming to the end of this very quickly. You've got you enjoying Canterbury.
yeah.
Explaining an awful lot of things.
That was the birthplace for me. I was born in Brighton, but that was a sole birthplace for me.
What do you mean by that? You really were happy there.
I ejaculated from there.
And the symbols, the Canterbury Cathedral was a tremendous thing. You were in that, and you liked sitting in the throne in that room. What does that refer to? That wonderful room that we were in.
Well,
The big.
I don't know, but I know that I'm connected to my friend the Black Prince.
Now we have a plate here. Do you want to refer to that?
Sure.
Where is it? Here it is.
And my grandfather.
The Black Prince.
Well, I feel like it's show and tell.
No, you can't
school.
put that. Is that off?
You know, it's show and tell at school. You know, when I was a little boy.
We'll put it in the.
I know, honestly.
Okay.
I'll hold it. When you
Could you hold that up to the camera?
yes, when you come to school, if you read the back, you'd actually it'd be far more.
Okay, what's on the back? Is this something
Tells
that you can?
It's my grandfather. It's my grandfather. That's my great grandfather. Can you get that?
Yeah.
You want to read the back?
What does it say in the back?
Should I read it?
Yes.
Percy, elder son of the first of Northamptonshire, first saw active in the 14th Ninth of the Garter, had many important military commands, assisted replacing Henry IV on his throne, but later quarrelled with him, rebelled in collaboration with Earl of Douglas and Owen of Gladowr, but died and was slain in the Battle of Shrewsbury. And what that is saying is he was in line for the throne for Henry. He was in line for Henry the
First?
No. Fourth. And he was about to take the throne from Henry IV, but he got killed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my great grandfather. That's to do with the Stuarts, and it's to do with that bloodline that we didn't get into on that side. The Diana side.
The Diana side, because
Yeah.
there is a picture
Yeah.
of Diana kissing your grandmother.
Yeah. You sure?
Hold on, we've only got 2 minutes left. Do you want to find it
Yeah.
very quickly? No, closer to your body.
She was part of a military agency. I don't know which one. Auntie Bibi, I love you.
Just push it forward a wee bit. Yeah,
Because
okay, that's
it's
fine.
We're the same bloodline. It's the same family.
Now your grandmother's smelling those wonderful flowers. And thank you for that.
Bring Sarah in and mess with her. There's still time to, right?
Yeah, we've got one more hour left. So I need to be going up.
Huh?